And hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Friday night edition of Beach Talk Radio. I have a great lineup of guests tonight, but before we get started, I want to fill you in on a couple of quick things about what's going on this weekend. I did want to tell you about what's going on at Pete's Timeout on Sunday. They're having a very special celebration of life for Dave Collinan, who passed away in April from cancer. And if you have a chance to come on down to Pete's Timeout on Sunday, they're going to be playing music from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock in his honor. So come on down and enjoy the music and the celebration of life for Dave. That's coming up on Sunday. That's Sunday from 12 o'clock until 4 o'clock. So if you can stop on down, that would be great. And, of course, our show tomorrow, Saturday morning at 9 o'clock at Pete's Timeout in Times Square. And our guest tomorrow will be Susie Behan. And Susie was just voted into the Public Safety Committee this past week on the beach. And we're going to be talking to her about what her thoughts are on public safety on the beach and why she wanted to get on that committee. And Deborah Comella is the executive director of the Lee County Coalition for a Drug-Free Southwest Florida. And she's doing some great stuff, keeping kids off drugs in all of Southwest Florida. So join us tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. The wife will be here. We'll be on the beach because right now, as you can see, we're not on the beach. We're in the home office, and we appreciate you guys tuning in because there's only one topic. Let me get rid of that banner there. There's only one topic more interesting than crime at the Lani Kai, and that is talking about Donald J. Trump, who is our president now and could be our president when we vote on Election Day. But we're going to talk about that from two folks, that one who is in favor of Donald Trump and one who is not. And let me introduce you first to Pete Pollard. And Pete is not a Donald Trump fan, so we're going to get his views on why. Not so much a Joe Biden fan, which is interesting, but definitely not a Donald Trump fan. And Greg Skasny, everybody knows Greg because he's been on the show many times. So we appreciate you both coming on. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time tonight.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
So, Pete, the first question I have for you is, you tell us why you're not a Trump fan.
For me, it's subjective. I just don't trust the man. He comes in. He comes into the office with 4 or 6 bankruptcies. Nobody's really counting. So that indicates to me he's not the most astute businessman out there. And the man's is a liar. He just tells one lie after another. So people can never understand what he's really trying to accomplish, if anything, except to just build his ego, I think. But my biggest concerns about him now is the trade deficit is the highest it's been, or the worst it's been in 14 years. We have over 200,000 deaths from COVID-19, and the country is as divided as I've ever seen it, certainly since wasn't this divided. And the last time it was when Nixon was president. So
Pete, before we get to Greg, you are a Republican, correct?
I am a Republican, yes. I'm a Lincoln Republican.
A Lincoln Republican. So does that mean that you will not be voting for Trump? You will be voting for Biden?
I'll be voting for Joe Biden.
Okay. Greg, why are you? Go ahead. Hold on, Pete. Greg, why are you a Trump fan?
Okay, my opinion's probably not so subjective. So, and I'll address maybe a few things that Pete said. And I appreciate the fact he said his opinion's subjective about Trump. But if you look at what has happened in the past 3.5 years, we had some good things going, right? The economy was great. Trump, he promised to bring our troops home. He's bringing our troops home. He promised to open the embassy in Jerusalem. He did that. He promised to, end NAFTA. NAFTA was a horrible deal put in by Clinton and those guys. I was a union worker back when that happened. I worked in the steel mill. And at the time I belonged to the union, it was the worst thing that ever happened to middle-class workers. It was a horrible trade deal. And Trump said, hey, we're going to get rid of NAFTA. We're going to replace it with the USMCA. He did that. Democrats and everybody else has given lip service to prison reform. They all want prison reform. No one does anything about it. Donald Trump did it. He gave tax cuts. He gave tax cuts to the middle class. And regardless of whatever you hear on the debates and what all those guys say, when someone gives double the standard deduction, that's a middle class tax cut. I'm sorry, the guys who are rich do not utilize the standard deduction. So I mean, he does that. He's refunding the military. We need to have a strong military. 100% behind that. He's doing Space Force. I can just kind of go on and on, but the man does what he says, and he's good for America. He's, you know, people tend to say he lies. People don't like his attitude. I get it. Bring up business failures. Great. I can tell you there's not one successful businessman that's never failed. You give me one guy who's did it and went to the top and never had a failure. There's successful business people fail. That's how they get to be successful. So, you know, if you've been around real leaders, real tenacious class, you know, type A leaders, that's the kind of guy Donald Trump is. I mean, is he perfect? No. Does he say things? Does he tweet out things people wish he didn't? Of course he does, but that's just him. If you got to take it, leave it. You got to take the good with the bad. So, you know, to me, when you look at what he's done for the country, what he continued to do for the country, and what on the other side, what the choice is, I don't see how you couldn't vote for the man.
So Pete, the question I have for you is, what are your Republican friends saying to you about how they're going to vote? And you know, we had some comments already that said no Republicans will vote for Biden, but I don't even believe that. I mean, there's a slew of Republicans that will vote for Biden. I don't even understand why. I'm not a Trump fan, by the way. I think the guy is kind of wacko, but I could never vote for Joe Biden. So I'm voting for Trump. But you know, I'm not getting out of my boat with Trump banners on it. That's for sure. So what are your friends saying about it?
They don't trust him. Most of us think that he's very possibly a traitor. He's most assuredly a Russian stooge, or at least a Putin stooge. This persona that he evinces is called fire hosing. If you want to know more about that, you can Google it. Rand Corporation has written quite a lot about it. What he does is overwhelms his audience with one series of lies after another, and in so doing, he takes control of the narrative. So what he's done is turned Americans into Russian puppets. It goes back to the Cold War and the useful fool. You buy into Trump's nonsense and think that he's a great guy when in fact he is not. I don't agree that he's done anything that he said he was going to do.
So I step in for a second.
I don't know that NAFTA is no longer in effect. I was very active with the Perot people when NAFTA was the big threat, and I fought as hard as I could against NAFTA. Now, I don't doubt that Trump may have been able to restructure that somewhat, but I don't think that that NAFTA is off the books at all. We're still he certainly hasn't built a wall against between here and Mexico.
Well, he was on Rush Limbaugh today. He was on Pete. He was on Rush Limbaugh today, disputing what you just said about how many miles of wall he built, but you just don't hear that in the press.
He lies constantly, so you don't know if he's telling the truth. He rarely tells the truth.
I think where Pete went mistaken is that it is the term you're looking for is what the media does. It's called gaslighting. And that's what the mainstream media does all the time. So listen, but if you want to, he was under investigation for 2 years, under Mueller investigation for Russian interference. They found nothing. Every single stone was unturned. And it was so bad that everybody from the Mueller investigation destroyed their phones. I mean, I didn't interrupt. So let me get my point out, and I'm happy to have the debate back and forth. But he has went through this. I mean, he was investigated under every circumstance you could ever do by a special counsel who has more authority than any other prosecutorial body to do investigations, and he came out clean. So to say he's Russia's puppet, again, is just not looking at the facts. Now, if you look at what's declassified here just recently, again, if you look at what Hillary Clinton did, Hillary Clinton should be in prison for what she did, for storing emails.
Hillary Clinton did. Hillary Clinton was president.
Right, but what Hillary Clinton did, she started the narrative of her. She's definitely involved with the Russians. She started the narrative and put it in the FBI that, hey, Trump is a Russian agent and he's in with Putin and all that other. It's just garbage. It's not been proven. It's been debunked. And again, he went through 2 years of investigation.
Debunked at all.
So
you follow what he says every day.
I do follow what he says every day.
One lie after another.
It's not one lie after. I mean, again, I would love just give me specifics.
He attacks the truth and wants to make people question what really is truth. His nonsense about fake news is just that, an assault on truth.
It absolutely is not. I mean, if you look at them, you cannot sit there with a straight face, and really you can't, and say that that the mainstream media is not 100% against this man. He can't sneeze without them putting up some big story about, oh my God, he sneezed the wrong way. He is attacked by the media. And again, he's done great things for everybody across. And there was just a study done.
He hasn't done anything good for me.
Well, there was a study done it was just put out 93 years by the Fed Survey of Consumer Finances that basically says, hey, the top families, the top income earners have gotten little net growth between the years of 2016 and 2019, but families at the bottom experienced substantial gains. The gap between they've basically Obama Biden was actually horrible for lower and middle income people, and what Trump done, they have significant gains for what he's done. So I mean,
I don't have to accept your.
I'll give it to you. It's the Fed Survey of Consumer Finances.
Pete, go ahead, Pete. Greg, let him go. Go ahead, Pete.
I've already voted. I think for the first time in my life, I voted a straight party ticket, straight Democratic ticket.
So you're a rhino.
I would not vote for anybody that supports Donald Trump. So every local politician who said I support Donald Trump got an X for me. I did not vote for him.
So when you say you voted down party lines, you saying you voted for Cindy Banyai over Byron Donalds? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe not. I don't remember.
You see that you voted a straight ticket or you didn't, right? So that's a pretty simple thing to do.
Well, so. I spent a lot of time sitting in front of this screen, Googling the different candidates, and I voted for whoever I thought was best. At the end, it was mostly Democrat.
Okay. So why do you think that?
If you said support Donald Trump, I crossed you off almost immediately. It's like there was one or two candidates where both of them said they supported Trump, so I had to dig through that a little bit. But
Byron has pictures with Trump. And he's a Trump Republican. He said so.
I did what?
I said Byron Donalds he has pictures with Donald Trump. He said I'm a Trump Republican.
And I'm almost certain I did not vote for him.
Okay, well, then you voted for Cindy Banyai. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, by the way, Greg, off the topic a little bit, you're getting a lot of kudos for that microphone. I mean, you're trying to make me look like an amateur here with my silly little Amazon microphone. What is that there that you got?
Listen, I have a whole studio. So I do a lot of webinars. So I just got my home office put back together. Thank God. Got my guitars on the wall. I got
how much do those headphones cost you, by the way? I'd like to know.
It's I don't
know, $200.
I got several sets of them, but when you got to give a presentation to a lot of people online, you got to have good equipment.
All right. So Pete,
you're welcome to borrow it. Anytime.
Thank you. I need an upgrade in equipment. Even my wife said that you were rocking the professional microphone. So Pete, do you admit that there's a possibility that you could get 4 more years of Trump?
Sure. There's that possibility. I'm hoping not.
Do you think that Biden is as far ahead in the polls as they say he is? Because they said the same thing about Clinton 4 years ago, and look what the hell happened there.
Yeah, but the mainstream media doesn't lie about Donald Trump at all, right?
Endlessly.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't vote for Trump last time. I wrote in Jeb Bush. I have no idea if it was even counted.
So, Pete, what is your conclusion about why Donald Trump gets so much support in Middle America?
He lies a lot. He tells people what they want to see. Give an
example. Give us some example of a lie he told today, or in the past month.
I don't pay that much attention to the man.
Oh, but I'm so confused. And this is, again, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I really want to understand. Like, okay, if the reason you.
No, you don't. You want to win a debate, but
no. If I wanted to win a debate, I would just try to speak over you, speak when you're speaking. But
to vote for your guy.
But no, what I want to know is, again, if you want to say, hey, I don't want to vote for him because he lies, All I ask is to give some examples of where he's lied. It's well, then I don't pay attention to the man. So it's either you pay attention to him and he lies, or you don't pay attention to him and you don't really know if he lies. It's what is he again? Give an example of what he lies about. I mean, I can give plenty of examples of Joe Biden lying. That's who just and so if you don't like liars, you just voted for one.
You're more obsessed with Joe Biden than I am.
I'm not. No, but I didn't vote. I'm not voting for Joe Biden. You voted for Joe Biden. You just said I voted for Joe Biden, right? So you're not going to vote for Trump because he lies. But I can tell you that Joe Biden is.
The only reason I'm not going to vote for Trump because I don't trust him.
But you trust someone like Joe Biden, who's been in politics for 47 years and done nothing other than be racist, be a pedophile. I mean, you trust a guy who I mean, let's face it. Look at Joe Biden on camera. He's a pedophile. You trust that guy.
That's been proven.
Right? I mean, come on. Just look at the videos. I mean, look what he did. It's creepy. It's just creepy.
So let's move on to another topic, the COVID thing. I mean, this COVID thing seems to. I'm sorry?
200,000, 214,000.
Pete, all right, let me ask you a serious question here. Do you honestly think that no matter who was president, there'd be less than that number of people dead right now?
Anybody but Donald Trump.
I don't believe that for a second. I mean, nobody anticipate what would a different president,
why I voted.
What?
I'm telling you what I believe and why I voted the way I did.
But let me ask you this. What you said there'd be less people dead if it wasn't Donald Trump. Like, what could they have done differently?
Talking about the social, trying to lead people towards using masks and social distancing. That seems to work. Doesn't
work. Just postpones.
It seems to work, or it does work.
Okay, Greg, we now have something that you and I agree on.
What's that? What was that?
That using masks and social distancing just postpones. It postpones the inevitable.
The hospital, the emergency facilities.
Yes, but the issue comes down to again.
If people get proper treatment, we might save a few lives.
Yeah, but here's the issue with the number of the deaths and the way where they're counted. Same thing with number of tests. I don't think anybody should have died from COVID. It sucks. But it's going to happen. We're going to have viruses. That's just the human condition. It's going to happen. But the way that they classify deaths, and this is not, you can look this up. I mean, the deaths are classified with anybody that died with COVID. And this just happened to a friend of mine. It's recently, I won't say he or she, but he or she's father passed away from a heart attack. And when they used a PCR test, which is a whole nother conversation we can have. They used a PCR test. He tested positive for COVID. COVID was listed as the cause of death on his death certificate. So that's happening all over the place. So, that kind of stuff, everybody points to 200,000 people.
It's happening to me. So it's not all over the place.
But that's, again, but when you say that, they use this 200,000 number, which again, not a single person died, but there's nothing that, again, they'll criticize Trump for, he knew about it. He knew how bad it was.
I want to understand your statement.
Sure.
Did you say no one has died from COVID?
I did never say no one died of COVID. The CDC said 6% of the people actually died of COVID.
So I didn't know what that referred to. What
I'm just saying that the sheer number of COVID deaths, same as the sheer number of positivity in cases, but the CDC said 6% of the people died of the deaths actually died 100% from COVID. Again, that doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that people that with comorbidities and got COVID, that COVID didn't kill them. So there has to be a happy medium there. But there is some skewing in the numbers, right? When the federal government comes out and says we're going to pay for anybody who has anything that has to do with COVID, there's going to be games played with numbers for reimbursements and things like that. So, but to say that anybody but Donald Trump would have caused less deaths, I think it's disingenuous. In the masking, social distancing, all this, the shutdowns.
I'm lying about it, I am not lying. I mean that.
Well, you think that
anyone who had said, any president who had said to people and did his best to lead them towards the social distancing, towards the mask, and simply just staying at home and isolating themselves.
But that's not what you do in a pandemic. It's never been done before in the history of pandemics. You never quarantine healthy people. You quarantine the people that are vulnerable. You protect the people who are vulnerable, and you get people out, and you get immunity, and you start to get herd immunity. You get people out, and
I'm not sure that statement is true. We've had quarantine.
That statement is true.
You say we've never quarantined healthy people.
You don't quarantine healthy people during the pandemic. When's the last time you saw a quarantine of healthy people?
I'm certain that that's true. There are lots of black and white photographs from the 1918 era and the swine flu or Spanish flu or whatever it's called. People wearing masks and people taking steps to prevent the disease. Now, we've had quarantine, I think is a nautical term. We used to quarantine ships routinely. They'd come into port, there's some disease on it. They held the crew on the ship until they found out that the crew was not infectious. So either they died on board or they were healthy and not infectious. So they did. So we have been quarantining people for a long time.
But we don't quarantine healthy people. That's what I'm getting at. Is you did that's the wrong response. It's the wrong response.
It's a negligible point. I'm not going to argue the history of quarantine with you.
Okay. Well, they lost.
Ask me my opinion. Whatever. I'm Darwinian on the thing. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I do when I'm out and about. But then I'm 72. I'm diabetic. I'm overweight, so I wear a mask. I think it's a good bet. You don't want to wear a mask? I don't care.
Hey, I think we're getting off the subject.
We want you to wear a mask when we come in the store. I want you to wear a mask or not come in the store. I don't want you around me. Am I going to call the cops? No. Am I going to start a fight with you? Certainly not.
Pete,
but I'm going to wear the mask.
All right, Pete, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that you believe that Trump's done over the last 4 years that you could say he did right or he did well or we?
No, I think the man is evil to the core and has done nothing of any value. I think he's a total waste of flesh.
Oh boy. When you say evil to the core, what do you mean?
Yeah, I love an
I think
example.
he's probably an incestuous pedophile. That's what I mean, evil to the core. I believe
name one example that he's done anything inappropriate.
What does he have?
I'm sorry?
Understand the term? Use your imagination.
Did you say something about him grabbing the pussy remark?
I did not.
Oh.
Greg, come on, man. Keep it clean. You never know.
I didn't hear him. Listen, I'm just going to.
We're in the window here. You never know who's watching.
It's not. We're not regulated by the FCC.
You only say that Saturday mornings at 9. What's wrong with you?
I just didn't hear him. I apologize.
How do you get to Pete? Seriously though, how do you get to a point where you dislike somebody that much? I mean, you really seem like you're angry.
Bystanders in Portland getting shot in the head. That was a tipping point for me from distrust and dislike.
From what? Say that again. Say that again. Say that again, because we missed the beginning part of what you said. Go ahead.
There were at least 2 innocent protesters in Portland were shot in the head by maybe ICE troops, maybe not. And this is where I think Trump is a.
You're talking about Portland. That the locals have no control over that city. How do you blame? Why do you blame him? How can you blame him for that?
Yeah, he sent troops.
You're saying troops killed 2 innocent bystanders. Now you're saying
they killed them. I said they shot him in the head with rubber bullets, and the wounds are just horrific.
I didn't hear
that. And you guys are not keeping up with things.
No, apparently not. I mean, to call what was happening in Portland, anything
posted there. And if these people if 2 people shot in the head with rubber bullets, suffering horrific head wounds, if they were not innocent, why weren't they arrested? Why haven't they been prosecuted? If they were doing something illegal.
Were they protesting or were they rioting? Were they destroying property?
They were protesting legally.
Were they? I don't know. I'm just asking. But I mean, were they part of? Were they?
You do your own research.
Well, but I mean, what happened in Portland? Portland, the city lost control of the city. There were not peaceful.
They were in the United States.
I know where Portland is. But I'm going to say that what happened in Portland was, whether these 2 individuals, I have no idea about them or what they were doing. I'm happy to look it up. But what happened? They lost control of their city. Trump didn't do anything. Trump has no control and cannot send any troops into the city. So there's no military there.
With no insignia on it. They were there anonymously. They were taking people off the street, putting them in unlocked cars, and these people are just disappearing off the street. It's the same tactic Putin used in Ukraine. He sent in Russian soldiers with no insignia, little green. And then
I'm sure everybody that was protesting in Portland was peaceful, right? Everything that got burned down in Portland, all the businesses that were destroyed, all peaceful.
but it's why I'm so upset. I think the state of the republic is at risk.
If Joe Biden gets into office, absolutely.
Hold on, Greg. Hold on, Greg. Pete, what do you mean by that? What, Pete? We have a little bit of crossover where we can't hear you when one of us talks. I think it's just a microphone thing. But so what? When you say that, what do you mean?
I've said a lot. What?
When you say the republic is in danger, what do you mean?
I think Trump is an authoritarian. I think he is a fascist, and if he can overthrow the Constitution, he will.
Wow.
I fear this man. I'm not upset because he has funny hair. I don't care about his hair.
I think you're just delusional. I don't know how else to put it.
He's very, very serious.
But everything you say is just blatantly wrong. It's just blatantly false. It is absolutely wrong. I mean,
I've done the research.
Okay, if you say so. I mean, but
and I'm certain that I'm absolutely
one at a time.
All I can say is, like, again, if you bring up things that happened in Portland, what happened in Portland was a riot. There were businesses destroyed. There were homes destroyed. Again, homes destroyed. Again, no one. They didn't want to send in the national. They didn't ask for the National Guard. Again, what happened in Wisconsin. Again, that's not peaceful protesting. That's rioting. They're destroying businesses. People are going to get hurt when that happens. It's just plain and simple.
You're okay with a kid from Wisconsin running down the street with an AR-15 or what it was and shooting some guy in the back 7 times.
He didn't shoot some guy in the back 7 times. Maybe you should actually. No, he did not shoot any. You're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse?
It hasn't come to court. The information I'm getting and the information I believe that is he shot a man in the back 7 times.
You're talking about the guy they have on tape, Kyle Rittenhouse, I believe his name was, right? That got hit in the head with a skateboard that shot a guy that had a gun. I mean, is that the same guy you're talking about?
No, that's not who I'm talking about.
So I don't know what guy you're talking about with an AR-15.
I'm sure you do. I do.
Yeah, but who is he? What's his name? Where's he from? I mean,
you should educate yourself.
No, I mean, again, I just educate me. I'm asking you.
Denying something that happened, which is true. We have a dead body with holes in it.
But you don't know. You know it was if it was self-defense. You weren't there. You don't know what happened. It hasn't been to court. So I mean, again, you can have all the conjecture and all the opinion you want.
Somebody in the back 7 times self-defense.
Again, you weren't there. You don't know the circumstance. You have no idea. You have no idea. Have you ever been in a gunfight? Ever see someone try to shoot like this? I mean, there's 100 scenarios you can go by.
You're not there. You don't know.
I'm not there. I'm just giving plausible explanations for how it happened. That's all. I don't know what it is.
Talking over me, trying to refute what I say when you admit you don't know.
Pete, all I'm saying is that, listen, and I'm sorry, but every time I go to talk, you try to talk over me. And I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just saying that everything you say is conjecture. It is one, again, it is. I ask you, like, okay, you say it's not self-defense. You weren't there, and it hasn't went to court yet. So there can be plausible explanations for all that. But again, I want to get back on the Trump thing. If the 100% reason you think Trump's a Russian puppet, even though he's been investigated for it thoroughly, the only people who are Trump puppets are, again, Obama and Biden and Hillary Clinton were all trying to overthrow a duly elected president, and you voted for a guy.
They're not running for office.
But Biden is.
Why are you fixated on something that's over and done with?
No, it's not done with, because Biden will probably be indicted.
Joe Biden, go right ahead. I don't care what you say about Joe Biden.
But you don't vote. You don't want to vote for Trump. Again, I'm just trying to understand.
He's an enemy of the people. He's in all likelihood a traitor.
I would say that Joe Biden is more of a traitor than Donald Trump will ever be. Joe Biden's son.
I have to believe it.
Joe Biden's son was paid hefty sums of money for being on the board of Burisma Holdings, which he had absolutely no experience.
I don't care what Joe Biden's son did.
Because that's all part of the family, my friend. I mean, Joe Biden was off again in Ukrainian court. I don't
care. It's not an issue.
In Ukrainian court.
So what?
The president of Burisma Holdings says we bribed Joe Biden with $900,000.
About Russian soldiers.
They're not Russian soldiers. There was no Russian soldiers on American soil.
The same thing, sending his goons into Portland in unmarked uniforms.
If they're unmarked, how do you know? If they were unmarked,
just to disappear off the street. I care about that.
if they were unmarked, how do you know that if they were unmarked? If they were unmarked, how do you know the federal government sent them?
They were around the federal courthouse protecting it.
But again, how do you know? Again, but the federal government can protect the courthouse, right?
Yes.
That's they don't need to be unmarked to do that.
They weren't federal troops. Why weren't they arrested?
I just want to know how do you know? Again,
in the uniforms with no insignia. If they weren't there authorized to be there, why didn't ICE arrest them?
Good. I don't know, but again, how do you know Trump sent him in there? That's what I'm saying. You're
a Trump apologist.
I'm not apologizing. I apologize nothing for what he did.
What he does, you're going to say no. Guys that said, where Donald Trump said 4 years ago, I could walk out in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and my people would still vote for me. And you're
wrong.
You're going to
I'm going to have to do my Chris Wallace here and jump in, and I have to mute their microphone so I can jump in and put my Chris Wallace on, everybody. I just want to keep this thing flowing. I'm putting your microphones back on. No so Pete, what I wanted to jump in and ask you is, I don't really think that you, I'm going to kind of turn it around a little bit. So Donald Trump, there was 18, 25, 30 people back in 2016 that could have become the Republican nominee, but the Republican Party chose Donald Trump, and the voters voted Donald Trump in as the president. And you really seem like you're on the edge of conspiracy theories here with him being a Russian spy and a Russian agent. The whole Russian thing was a hoax anyway. I mean, I think most people believe the Russian thing was a hoax.
Are interfering in our election, but
we all know that. But they always have been interfering. We all do that to each other.
You don't have to be a Russian spy to be duped by an unscrupulous politician.
Well, so specifically, what has happened in the last 4 years that damaged the country that you think Donald Trump did that with in the pocket of Putin or China or North Korea? I mean, until COVID came around, we were all flying high.
I wasn't.
Well, I mean, why not? I mean, why weren't you? What were you doing? Why do you look to the government to help you succeed? That's not a Republican thing.
I'm sorry, I missed that last.
Why does it matter who the president is to help you succeed as a personal, as a person who wants to be successful? Why do you say it didn't help you? Who gives a shit who the president is to be successful?
I've been retired.
Okay, so then how did he damage whatever it is that you wanted? What did you want from the president?
What did I want from honor, character, leadership? Well,
okay, character. That's the one thing I would agree with.
I have one friend who is just a over the top Trump supporter, and he said to me more than once, he's like a broken record. I know the man's a scoundrel, but that's what we need. No, we don't need a scoundrel as president.
No, we need someone who is racist, who sniffs women, who
unquestionably racist.
No, Joe Biden is one customer. Joe Biden gave the eulogy at I would look it up. What's his name?
Do you think anybody in this country,
Robert Byrd, KKK recruiter,
black or white, is not a racist?
No, I think Joe Biden specifically is a racist. He said just recently, hell no, I'm not a racist. I have family members that are black. I mean, no, I'm not. But I'm not a racist. I'm just telling you what it is. Huh? Are you a racist?
Your family?
Pardon me?
Do you like all the members of your family?
I love all my family. I love all my family. I kiss them all, every one of them. But again, I'm not giving the eulogy at Robert Byrd's funeral. I'm not the guy saying that. Hey, if you
one at a time.
Again, I'm not the guy saying that if you don't know if you're for Trump or me, you ain't black. I'm not the guy sitting there saying the reason I could stay in quarantine is because some black woman was stuffing the shelves. Those are all quotes from Joe Biden. And on his record, I mean, he sponsored the crime. He sponsored the crime bill. He said I wrote the crime bill, but you voted for the man. So I'm getting at that the hypocritical view you have that I don't like Donald Trump because I don't like the way he talks, or I think this, I think that. Joe Biden has proven time and time again that he's a traitor, that he's racist, that he's perverted as all get out.
All right,
but you still voted for him.
Greg, let Pete go. Go ahead, Pete.
14 years. I don't like that he's a horrible leader. I don't like that he's inept. I don't like that he's incompetent.
Okay, well, those are fair, I guess. Yeah.
Well, how is he inept or incompetent? I don't. It
As
kills
long-
me. Joe Biden has never. Joe Biden has never started a business.
You
Joe
said
Biden has never been successful.
that he got rid of NAFTA, but I've not had a chance to really look at the new agreement he's put in place.
Yeah, but he also He also put in tariffs against the Chinese. He said, "I'm going to take on the Chinese.
Tariffs
The Chinese
are-
are dumping the Chinese were dumping steel here. He put an end to it. He put tariffs on the Chinese. And regardless of what you think, I'm telling you, the Chinese are 100% our biggest adversary. It's not the Russians. The Russians are concerned, but the Chinese are 100% our biggest adversary. And I'm sorry, he stands up to China all the time. He's like, this virus is China's fault. Pardon me? What's not true?
I don't say that he's a Chinese stooge. I say that he's a Russian stooge.
And so why? So I would love to know why he's a Russian stooge. What has he done?
I don't know what's going on with those two guys.
Like, so what
is going on? What do you think is going on?
Yeah, I would love to know. Like, what?
I don't know. That caused me.
Pete, why do you say shit like that? I mean, that's what I asked you that question. What has happened in the last 4 years? Let me ask the question. Pete.
The Russians have a bounty on American soldiers, and Trump hasn't even mentioned it, hasn't even acknowledged it. Said not.
Do you think this is not the first time that there's been a bounty on American soldiers? You can't be that naive.
I'm not talking about sometime in the past or sometime in the future.
There's always a bounty on American soldiers. Always.
There's
How do you know that? How do you know that? Do you know that, Pete? Do you know he's done nothing?
Kill Americans, and he's doing nothing about it. Doesn't open his mouth one time.
Pete, how do you know? How do you know he's doing nothing about it?
The only way you can get him to shut up and not lie is if you ask him to disavow white supremacy or to take the Russians.
Please, Pete.
I will send you a 5-minute clip.
Hold on, Greg. Pete, he disavowed over and over and over again. David Duke, white supremacist. He's done it and done it over and over again. And I'll play it for you. I have the clip where he's done it, and it constantly comes up. It constantly comes up because what's that?
No, thank you.
Well, so it wouldn't matter if he disavowed it to you, right? It wouldn't matter.
He had a chance to disavow it in a debate and did not.
He did it. He did it over and over and over again. How many times do you have to be asked?
Not in the debate that I watched, he didn't.
How many times you have to be asked the same ridiculous question? It's ridiculous.
He answered it.
He did answer it.
Absolutely did.
In 2016.
He did not hear. He didn't answer it to my satisfaction.
Pete, you don't want to hear it because you hate the man. You don't care what he says, right? You don't care what he says.
He's a threat to the American Republic. I do hate the man.
You have not specified how he's a threat to the American public, American Republic. How is he a threat? Go ahead and be specific. What's going to happen?
Why? Do you not understand fascism?
I do.
And authoritarianism. If you don't, then you need to educate yourself. But it's not my job to educate you. My job is to educate myself and cast the best what I think I can.
I'm not asking you to educate me. I'm not asking you to educate me. I'm asking your opinion. I'm asking your opinion on why you think the country is going down the crapper. That's all I'm asking you.
I didn't say the country's going down the crapper. I said Donald Trump is a danger to the republic.
Okay, explain what you mean.
If he gets a chance.
Explain what you mean for the people watching. Explain what you mean, why you have that opinion.
We've done that. I've done that repeatedly. He is a Russian stooge. He uses he uses the fire hosing technique that Vladimir Putin uses. He uses the same underhanded strategies that Putin uses. They're cut out of the same cloth.
What is your philosophy? What is your philosophy on America?
What is my philosophy on America?
Yeah.
How many days you got?
We have maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
Give me your top three.
My top three. It would go back to the Constitution: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. But
I guess it's all a perception of that, right? Because a lot of people think that's exactly what he's doing.
I'm not one of them, so I voted against him.
Okay, fair is fair. Greg, you're up.
Yeah. So all I can say is this is the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome I've ever seen. I'm not asking if you care. I didn't interrupt you. You can just sit there for a second. Let me just finish. Okay. I've been very kind and not in gracious and
I got big shoulders. You don't have to be nice.
Well, I'm a nice guy. That's just the way it is. So deal with it.
You can't be a nice guy. You voted.
No, I'm a smart guy. That's why I voted for Trump. Again, you can sit there and say all these things that
incestuous pedophile.
he's not a pedophile. He's not. Everybody who is on Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs are voting for Joe Biden. Every person who is on Jeffrey Epstein's flight log voted for Joe Biden. They are pedophiles. They're real pedophiles. They're all Democrats. They voted for the guy that you think is going to run the country better than Donald Trump. Donald Trump, again, you're retired. You're retired. You just said you're retired. Okay.
Positive in his favor. And that is,
are you done? Okay. You're retired. You benefited. You
brain dead space zombie. But I would
okay. All right. I get it. You're retired. You're retired. You benefited from Donald Trump's economy. Your investments and your retirement went up with the stock market just like everybody else's did. So you benefited from Donald Trump's economy. Did you get a stimulus check? Yes, did you cash Donald Trump's stimulus check? Did you get a stimulus check?
Yeah, because he's going to.
Did you cash it? Did you cash it, or did you send it back to the Treasury?
That was a sham.
Did you? I just want to know if you cashed a check that had Donald Trump's on it, so you don't mind spending the man's money when he hands it out.
Not his money.
I know it's our money. I don't disagree with that, but it had his name on the check. You cashed it anyways. This guy doesn't take a salary. He donates his salary back every time. You didn't see Joe Biden or Obama doing any of that kind of stuff. Again, you say he's a Russian stooge. He was investigated for 2 years with basically he was investigated for any kind of Russian collusion, which again, for 2 years by someone who has the broadest scope of any investigator that could ever have. And they came up with zero.
That he had not done anything that was impeachable.
They came up with zero. No crimes, nothing. He was 100% exonerated. And then it was so sketchy, again, they had to destroy all their phones before they turned them in. Everybody from the Mueller camp destroyed their phoons and all their records before they turned them back in. So if you want to look for what real Russian collusion looks like, you want to know what real Russian stooges look like.
St. Donald Trump is the only one that's going to save us. That's how
I'm not saying he's the one that's going to save us. I'm saying that what he does is very, very effective.
I'm the only one who can do it. I'm the only one. I'm the only one. The stock market. It's nonsense.
It's
a liar, and he
again. If you want to point out some things he lied about, I'm happy to discuss it. But you have no specific examples. I can give you specific examples. The guy you lied about every day.
I don't need to explain myself to you.
I ask you, but I'm just saying. I just ask for examples, not an explanation. But again, I see you have trouble with, getting things right in your head. So we'll just leave it at that.
No, I don't. I'm very clear in my mind. You apparently are not.
Oh no, I'm very, very clear. I mean, I
all right, everybody.
But anyways, it was fun.
The comments have been great. I mean, it's probably 50-50. Well, not 50-50. I mean, it's probably 75-25. Trump fans 75. I don't know. There are more people that I thought that are not Trump fans. I mean, obviously we live in
Southwest Florida. It's a huge.
Sorry, go ahead, Pete. Go ahead. Well, I missed that.
It's a Southwest Florida. It's a huge Republican stronghold.
Right.
I'm surprised that that there's more than one person in Southwest Florida that doesn't like Donald Trump.
No, I mean, hey, listen, I'm going to vote for him, but I wish he wouldn't demean the office the way he does. I mean, I really think that office should be held up to higher standards for everybody. I mean, from Clinton to, I think, and even Greg gives me crap about this, but I think the Bushes were great with the office despite the policy stuff. But yeah, I just think that they don't demean the office, and it always makes the country look better to the outside world. But that's just me. I mean, but I also think that the Trump policies have been good for our family or good for our folks. And although I don't rely on government, but I don't rely on government for anything. I don't want to make that
environment.
Oh, here we go with all that with the. I don't want to get into that. That could be a whole hour, and I'm certainly not.
But I think something you said is good. I mean, I think that people understand.
Trump has done nothing for the environment.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, he hasn't. Of course, hasn't done anything for anybody. But I think what you said is is kind of yes and no, right? So you say, hey, I like what the Bushes did. I like the way they held the office. I get that. I get that. Hey, Trump is maybe not the statesman that people want to be. But that's not why he was elected. He was elected because, the last 8 years of Obama on the apology tour, Americans has to bow down to everybody. We can't be proud to be American anymore. And the reason that Trump gets the support he does is because he is
Greg,
a strong.
He's got a question for you. Go ahead, Pete. Ask him.
Make America great again. I want to know when America stopped being great. Because I don't see it.
Probably about the time Obama was elected, but
yeah, I think we had
when he gave billions of dollars in cash to Iran and went around on his apology tour. It's about the time America stopped being great.
Greg, I don't agree with Greg's answer, but Pete, let me ask you this: what is wrong with the president? Obviously, the tweeting and the craziness that Trump brings with it. What is wrong with the president bragging about the United States of America? What is wrong with the United States of America being the leader at everything, from military to the economies? What is wrong with having that kind of attitude where other countries don't sponge off us? That really pisses people off, that we give all this money away to these countries that are they don't give a crap about us, but I understand we have to do that. What is wrong with us being the leader at every single thing, from science to the economy to military? What's wrong with that?
We don't lead in everything, but no, we lead in a lot of things. We're very strong. We've done a lot of good, and there's nothing wrong with being proud of that. But I'm very skeptical of pride. I mean, pride goeth before a fall. Somebody a lot smarter than I am said that. You can argue the point if you want, but I think carrying pride too far is not a good thing. And I think with power comes responsibility, or you become a tyrant. Am I happy with Iran? No. Am I happy with the Saudis? No. I don't know what that guy's doing in North Korea. How he's still exists is beyond me. I would have thought somebody would have put him out of his misery long ago. Hopefully the Chinese and not us. But no, people don't like. We have to be strong. We have to try and do what's right. You mentioned the Bush. I go back to George H.W. Bush and his asking for a kinder and gentler America. I haven't seen that since he left office. True. That's one thing is very, very lacking from the Republican Party. My party, which I would like us to see recaptured.
You're not a Republican. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Oh,
I mean, you're a rhino. It is, and the group you belong to, the Republicans against Trump, is the Republicans against Trump is just a front to get Republicans that are on the fence to vote Democratic. And you look up all over the country.
Greg, I'm not going to let you get away with that. There are Republicans that don't like Trump, and it's not fair.
No doubt. But there are very few Republicans who vote a straight Democratic ticket.
Well, go on Facebook and look up the Lincoln Project. There are a lot.
Oh yeah, they're horrible. They're horrible.
There are a lot of Republicans that don't like Donald Trump.
Well, they're also helping to really bury the Republican Party. I mean, they're totally splintering. They're not.
Republican Party exists right now. It needs to be buried. It needs to start over.
Well, and the alternative is Nancy Pelosi's party.
Yep. The alternative is California.
I mean,
hopefully after 2020 has been so stressful, maybe she'll just take a break. Maybe she'll just go home and take up gardening or whatever.
All right, you guys. I appreciate your time, Pete. You've been great, man. You went into the fire there, and we appreciate your views, man. Appreciate your time and your views for coming on, and thanks so much. And look forward to having a beer with you.
All right, Pete. It was fun.
All right, Greg. Thanks so much, man. And we'll see you tomorrow after the show.
Absolutely. I'll be a little bit late, but I'll definitely be down there. Thanks for having me on and listening to my crap, but it was fun.
All right. Nice microphone, by the way. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in tonight to our special Friday night show. I think I have a headache now. And we will be back on the beach tomorrow morning at 9:00 with Susie Bahan, a new member of the Public Safety Committee, and Deborah Camella, the Executive Director of the Lee County Coalition for Drug-Free Southwest Florida. And I want to put this back up here one more time so you can see what's going on at Pete's Timeout on Sunday, a special celebration of Dave Colladin's life. He passed away back in April from cancer. He's a local musician, and from 12 to 4 on Sunday at Pete's, They're going to have a bunch of musicians, Megan Rose Eccles, Aaron Eccles, Steve Forrest, Anthony Wayne, Paul Deaver. You see the whole list there. They're all going to be playing. It's going to be a celebration of Dave's life, and that's going to be on Sunday from 12 to 4 at Pete's Timeout. So thanks a lot, folks, for tuning in. And don't forget to sign up for the headlines. Tuesday and Friday, we're bringing the news headlines. Everything that's going on the beach, and you can sign up at beachtalkradionews.com. We'll see you at Pete's Timeout tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.